My name is Sherri, and my husband and I live in Fontana, Wisconsin. And we had an incident about a month and a half ago where one of our friends found some water in our basement on the rug in our finished basement. And it was like, oh, we never had water in the 24 years that this house has been built. And so it was really unusual. I thought, oh, maybe it's just a little drip drip. And then we found out a couple days later it was soaking up the padding and carpeting that was starting down there by the foundation. And so I thought, well, we got to get somebody in here. So I called our agent through insurance, and he didn't know exactly what to say. And he said, well, I'm going to send somebody out to take a look at it and kind of investigate to find out where it's coming from, because do you think it's your roof, or do you think it's from the foundation, or where do you think? Is it in the walls? I said, not that I know of, And so he sent Penelope, who was, in Madison, and that was a far time because the co-virus stuff was just coming up. And she drove right away over here to take a look and to investigate and give it her best shot on, what her idea was that it might be. And so then she called back to our insurance person, and they sent somebody up to go to the roof, because we thought it might be something from the damage from wind or hail that we've had in our town in the past, and checked it out, or the flashing, something maybe coming in through the walls. He ruled it out. And then Penelope came and left, and I called her again because more water was starting, and it was like, oh no, this is not just a little thing maybe. So we had her come back, and she came back within the same week, even though everybody was getting really uptight about the pandemic. She was right there for us, answered right away. We had her regular cell phone, said, you call. So she made herself available, and right away that support helped me to do it. My husband is ill and can't help me on this right now, so I really felt alone doing this and not knowing, never having anything happen like that. I was really a newbie. And then she offered some resources, and we had them come in. And then, when I heard what that man's idea was, we called 2 more places at her request. She said, you need somebody more, I think it's more. And I said, oh, really? And then we found out it's not the roof, it's not the flashing, it's not coming through the walls. And it's like, well, then what? Well, it's coming through your foundation, and insurance said, we won't pay for it because it's coming through your foundation. So that meant everything was going to be, whatever we decided, out of pocket. And so the second company we had that came in mentioned that we'd have to dig up our whole perimeter of our basement inside and put new drain in, and get 2 sump pumps and have a backup, and then also do the outside of the perimeter of our basement. And so it was like, oh my gosh, and the cost was prohibitive. So then we got a third estimate, and the company had another story to tell that the other places didn't. And it was eeny, meeny, miny, mo, what are you gonna do? And so I talked to Penelope about it, and then we jointly decided to go with the last one. And they just dug up they dug up the whole perimeter of our full basement, and they even pumped in cement to pour down there after they got the drain tiles. And it really was a whole week job. And my husband and I had to leave the house for 2 days. It was just, a mess, to say the least. It's an understatement. But it's been about a month and a half now, and it's getting all put together again, and it's all guaranteed. And in the beginning of this, we knew we were losing our padding, and we didn't know if we'd lose our carpeting. And some carpet guy said, oh yeah, you're gonna have to get all new carpeting too. And I talked to Penelope, and she said, I don't think so. I think you'll be able to keep your carpeting, but you might want to definitely get new padding, which we did for part of the room. And I'm really glad we did. And then I asked about, mold and mildew. And then emergency fire and water restoration did come in, and they promptly came back again the third time in a week. They responded to my calls, and so we have no mold or mildew down there. So she openly afforded availability of herself to us as we needed. And it was just really comforting, and I felt much more at ease in a situation that was just awful, to say the least. And we're real grateful, and we feel real blessed to have this done now.